We are rejoined by a guest who is an example of being persistent with your work. When Alexa first joined us, she was not at 1 million followers on Instagram, but now, as we record, she is at 1.8 million. If you are looking to grow your company or brand, this is the episode for you. She is going to share tips and tools for growth no matter what industry you are in. So stay tuned. But before I bring her on, let's learn how she podcasts. Alexa, which platform do you stream your podcast through?
Mainly Spotify.
Spotify. When in the day do you find yourself listening?
I would say in the middle of the day or after work.
In the car, in the gym?
I like to do it in my office on the computer.
I like that.
Yeah.
And with that,
Yeah.
we are going to welcome you back to another episode of That Entrepreneur Show. I am your host, Vincent A. Lanci. If this is your first show with us, no matter whether you're looking to start or scale your business or idea, this is the show for you. On each episode, I sit down with a new entrepreneur from around the country to share what worked well for them, what they improved on, and most of all, their firsthand experience. You never know which motivational journey will inspire you most. It is time for another Rewind the Clock bonus episode, and I am bringing back an entrepreneur who focused on bringing you that firsthand experience I just spoke about. She is returning from season 2, episode 54 overall, about 100 episodes, so there is a lot to catch up on. She is an international model and influencer that will talk about forming new partnerships and collaboration. To her tools for success, she is going to share it all. After learning a little bit about her recent success at our mutual friend, Luke and Paige's wedding, I knew how valuable her story would be to bring it back. So with that, Alexa, it's great to see you again.
Good to see you too. Good to see your face.
Likewise, would you mind introducing yourself to our audience one more time who may have missed your first time on the show?
Sure. My name is Alexa Collins. I live here in beautiful, sunny South Florida. I'm a model, influencer, and entrepreneur.
I'm excited to learn what's new. Let's touch on your first episode here. What were you doing then? And we'll talk about what you're up to now.
Sure. So I guess at that time, I was really trying to build my brand and continue growing. I mean, obviously, you had said, I hadn't been to 1 million followers yet. I was really trying to hit that number and surpass that goal in the past year. So I did. But, once you hit those numbers, other things come about. I think it's been more important this year to not only build, but to create other partnerships with different brands and meet new people and start thinking about, starting my own business and doing something else, other forms of income instead of just being an influencer. So it's been an interesting year and a lot has happened since we last spoke for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what's next after modeling, but let's first touch on some of the new stuff you have been working on in modeling.
Sure. So I've been continuing the brand partnerships, but I've also started a YouTube channel as well. Not only that, but I have started my own website where I produce income on there. So it's kind of like a passive income and more of like a personal website where it's an OnlyFans where people can go on there and chat with me. So I've found other ways to stream income just rather than Instagram. TikTok has been a huge market this year, so that I've really been focusing on as well. There's just so much, but I guess mainly I've just been really focusing on YouTube, TikTok, and my website for sure.
I remember actually when we first recorded, TikTok was something you were considering doing. Has it been worth it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do get a lot of brand partnerships on there, actually more there now than Instagram sometimes. So it was a good transition. I think a lot of the Instagram market is going to start turning into these real videos. It's a lot more video based now than it is actually like photo based.
I have to get more involved with that. I started the TikTok and then kind of Excuse City came into play when everything else came along, but
it's not easy, but once you get the hang of it, it's super simple. I promise.
I have to dive into it more. But now I'd like to talk a little bit about COVID. Alexa, how did COVID affect your work?
It didn't affect me as much as I thought. It was difficult in the photo shoot aspect. I wasn't doing any photo shoots on set. nothing like that, no commercials or anything, because no one obviously could be together. So I was doing all of my work from home, which made it a little bit difficult for me to produce content that was quality, because
Right.
you can only do so many things in your house, right? So I guess it was slower in that aspect.
I can imagine as a creative, I always am running short in ideas. And for modeling, especially, you need to keep your
I
content fresh.
know.
How many
Yeah.
times do you have to post a day?
I usually do two, but lately I've been doing one. I've been trying to minimize it a little bit more, just because it does get better engagement when you do once a day. But with my busy schedule, sometimes I have to do two a day, and then TikTok once a day, YouTube is once a week.
Thank you for sharing that with everybody listening on. If you are looking to grow a social media channel, take some of her advice. I'd like to now ask you, Alexa, to help our audience out. What is one piece of advice you were given at one point in your life, and who is it from?
So it's actually pretty recently. I switched to new management, actually about a month ago, and it was a good transition for me. It was something that needed to happen after all these years. But one thing my new manager said was, don't let people minimize your content or bring you down, because know the value of your content, know the value of the audience that you have. If you have a good audience, it's super important to not let people minimize that. A lot of brands will try to bring you down in rates and stuff like that. Make sure you hold your ground, create that media kit, and let them know those are your numbers, and doesn't change from there.
I like to put it as, if you walk into a store, you're not going to nickel and dime them and say, hey, can I have this for 20% less? We ask that you
Right.
don't do it to small business owners either.
Exactly. It's right. I am a small business, so I think it's super important to let people know right off the bat, for sure.
Hold your integrity, know your value, and do not budge. Now we're going to ask for one more piece of advice, Alexa. If you could recommend any book or workshop, tool, app to our community of entrepreneurs, what would you choose?
This is super random, but I've just started getting into real estate a little bit, and it's a course for entrepreneurs. It's called the B&B Formula.
Okay.
It's something that you can purchase, but I've been taking that course, and I really want to get into real estate and the Airbnb situation. So this is a great course if you're looking to do something like that. It's something that you would have to watch for hours, but I promise you it's totally worth it.
Where can they find that?
It's online. You could purchase it online on the website. But yeah, it's pretty pricey, I would say, but it's definitely worth it if you're committed to this and you're looking to get into something like that.
It's a good example of how, if you want to invest in yourself, it will be worth it. It may be a upfront cost, excuse me, but the dividends are very large and they're over time. She's talked a lot about passive income today, multiple streams of revenue. If it's something you've been thinking about, please dive in. And Alexa, as you know from your first episode, it's normally time for the spotlight story. But on these episodes, I would like to give you the opportunity to show a friend some love, a fellow entrepreneur. Who should we check out?
I would say you guys should check out my friend. Her name is Cindy Prado. This girl is an absolute powerhouse. She owns so many businesses. She started off as an influencer, but she has found probably about 10 different ways to create passive income. And she's just an incredible businesswoman. She runs everything herself. So check her out on Instagram. Her name's Cindy Prado.
Be sure to check her out. And with that, Alexa, I want to thank you so much for joining on another episode. I obviously loved how you talked all about growth and multiple revenue streams, but also what's next for you. We all learned from COVID that life does not stay the same. Things are constantly changing. Don't sell yourself short and only have one way to do it. And with that, it's time for your last word.
Okay. Like I said, I guess I'm going to repeat it again. Please do not let other people ruin the value of what you actually are as a business. Small business, big business, whatever it is, make sure to always value your content. If you're a creator, I've learned that over this past year. It's super important to let people know where you stand and be strong.
An excellent last word. Now, how can we find you on Instagram, other social media? You mentioned a website as well.
Sure, you can find me on Instagram at just Alexa Collins. That's my handle. My TikTok is Alexa Nicole Collins. My YouTube channel is just my first and last name again, Alexa Collins. You'll find me on there. And my website is in my Instagram bio.
Be sure to check out all her great content. And while you're on social media and the internet, be sure to check us out too. You could head to my profile at Vincent A. Lanci on all social media to find everything for the show. And my website is vincentalanci.com. If you check out my books, I would love to share your support. Send me a selfie. And the latest book is Mental Health Week. I would like to end the show with a quote that inspired me, and it will for you. And this one is from Farrah Gray. Build your own dreams, or someone else will hire you to build theirs. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week on That Entrepreneur Show. Alexa, thank you for joining again.
Thank you. Absolutely appreciate you.